Like most of the time that we do music, sometimes people tab it and they write it out, and that's great. A lot of times though, it seems like the ones people have been showing to us, it's been like close but no, and that's all right. But one of those things is because we have realized that a lot of our stuff is a bit too fast for its own. I mean, we're not a fast band, but it's a bit too fast for its own good because it kind of lets the minor details slip sometimes. Like, you're going to see that on Mouth, I guess, too. And if we would have done Concatenation, that would have been the perfect example, because that's a song that goes like, people think we play it. Like that. Free, like, da, 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 da. So that's one of the things where it's like, some details get lost because it's on the record. It's not really there. And Pravus is kind of the same thing, because the way they've been tabbing it, I think, is, or alternately, but it's played like this. Gå är det för tempo? Kör du. That's the whole, it goes round and round, but the key ingredient to this is that's the way it goes. And it goes like, and then you might wonder, why the fuck do you do something that stupid when nobody hears it anyway, and now you don't know. It goes through a couple of droner riffs towards the end. We first have the bridge, which, like, where the pace of the actual song changes is the second mini bridge, which we were coming from a pretty full-on part that goes. The same type of setup that the first was, but different pattern, and then it goes into what you were talking about, which is something that was used to actually divide the songs, that first to have it lead into a very intense part and then to lead it out into the rest of the song. So it goes from into a melody part, and then we get into the really droning stuff, which is like, the... It goes on like that. And then I think that's the part you're talking about. The one that evolves is... Yeah, so that, but that's the break-me part where both of us fall in and kind of leave that behind and go. And then it goes to the end part. Yeah. Da, da, poof. So that's the first introduction to it, and then it goes over full circle, and it comes back into... So, That's like one of those droning things, and it runs its full course when it really falls naturally into the... leading to the next one, you know? And surprisingly enough, another droning part turns out, and that's the one we played you before the... Which is a fairly basic revolvement of a pretty long, just because it's differing in the tail end, how it like, but it's not a hard, complex pattern to follow. And then that all breaks down into the old school thrash metal tom bonanza, you know, the bop bop bop, which is like something that came about just to like flirt a little bit with the old school, you know, typical, we need this mosh tom parts, and that like goes like into the reason why the last three riffs are there, which is the... You know, like regular thrash metal end part, you know. En, två, tre, fyra. One. That's the whole pattern, you know. But once again, it's one of those where it's not really... In reality, that should be like...
Yeah.
But we're like... Yeah. It's like... En, två, tre, fyra. We like playing sparse. Sparse is good. Have you heard AC/DC? You know?